Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 16th. It is 6:21 right now. We've got market opening up in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we will get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update, and we should be good to go. And it looks like we are good to go here. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And then I will also send this out to you guys here on the YouTube. All right, perfect. So as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Right, going down to the 8 hour, down to the 4 hour, going down to the 1 hour, down to the 30 minute, down to the 15, down to the 10, and back down to the 1 minute over here. All right, guys, market liquidity. Looks like we are good to go. So good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 16th. It is 6:25 right now. We have market opening up in about 5 minutes. Looking at the ATR right now, it's currently at 18. So it looks like we might be back to normal market conditions for the most part, which is a great sign. We'll see what happens when the volatility picks up on open. Typically the first 10 minutes gets a little bit crazy. So well, we're still going to play by ear. We're going to, listen to the market and kind of adapt with whatever shows up as it appears. But as of now, I mean, market looks like how it normally does with the lower ATR. So we might be able to go back to that 30-30 if that becomes the average. If not, we'll stick to whatever the ATR gives us. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to adjust the ATR just for the first like 15, 14 minutes or so. I'm going to change it to 7 so that I can see what the actual movement here is on open. And then I will put it back to 14 once the market is kind of smoothened out a bit. Hey, Steven. Morning. Morning, Christian. Morning, Lila. Morning, everybody. So let's check the news for today. I think there was news this morning. So there was news over here at 5:30. It was retail sales. It was positive for the most part. So I'm gonna mark that up. And we had industrial production over here at 6:15. So 5:30 and 6:15 news, which was 5:30 was right there. And 6:15 right there. Looks like we have one more news event later today. We have two news events actually. We've got business inventories at 7. We've got gas stop change at 7:30. And then we have the Fed Chair Powell speaking at 10:30 later today. So 7 and 7:30, we got a couple news events coming up. All right, guys, we got market opening up shortly in about 2 minutes. So guys, one question I got yesterday, I think you're here, Mike, right? So for the opening price, there's no indicator for that. I just mark up the line on here just like I do with the news price. So see how we have the dotted pink line here? All I do is I use the rectangle tool. I'll go over here to the side. I'll click on the not the rectangle tool. I'll click on the horizontal line tool, and then I'll just draw it once the market opens up. So there's no tool for the opening price. It's just manually drawn. And I'll do it again for you once the market actually opens up. So looking at the breakout for today, guys, breakout is looking like a possible buy. We currently have a buy signal here right now. So that's what it may be. We'll know. Okay, so it is a buy. Yeah. The breakout for today is going to be a buy for whoever is looking to take that. I will come back and take a look at that later. Let's take a look at the overall trend right now. The 4-hour time frame is currently neutral right now. Price is in between the pivots. The 1 hour is also neutral, right in between the pivots. Trend meter is blue. Pivots are just going sideways. The 30-minute here is bearish. Price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. 10-minute, 5-minute, and 1 minute. The trend is currently bearish. So lower time frame is bearish. Higher time frames, bearish neutral for the most part. All right, so the direction for the breakout is going to be a buy for the day. We'll be looking to see what happens here shortly. Hey, Sam, morning. ATR is still at 18, so it's still pretty low. It should pick up here on open, but we'll see what happens here shortly. So market is opening up in 3, 2, 1. Market is now open. So looking at this right here, guys, so like I mentioned, for the opening price, all I do is I click on the horizontal line here. I click on the magnet tool to draw the perfect line. I go to the opening price. I click on it there. I color that blue, and then I label it New York Stock Exchange open. That's pretty much it. And that's how I mark up opening price right there. So price came up over here. It knocked out liquidity. Right there, let's see how far it pushed up. So about 30 points, almost 40 points looks like. The breakout's currently pushing in profit right there. It's sitting around that area. So let's take a look at the confluences right now. This is actually an NPSV2 entry, guys. The opening candle was an NPSV2 entry. Yeah, you can see right there was an NPSV2 entry. We had a buy signal. Price retraced, and then it closed back up right here on the 629 candle, and then it pushed through right there. So looking over here at the confluences, or I mean, the entry already hit. The ATR is currently at 32 right now. And we got some pretty crazy candles right now as price goes back and forth. Yeah, so these candles right here are a little extreme for the most part. We have the Yeah, like Tarek said, a lot of manipulation at opening price. This is pretty much what's been happening the past couple of days, guys, um, for this week. So for this week, we haven't been getting a lot of like crazy candles throughout the middle of the session, but the opening has been pretty crazy. So for the most part, I'm typically just waiting, for the first 15 or so minutes, so that we can have a better idea of like what the ATR is actually looking like. And then once we have an average for the ATR, that's when I start looking for actual opportunities for entry. So looking at this right here, yeah, the opening candle was about 70 points. The following candle was about 100 points. And this current candle right here is about 60 points. So unfortunately, it looks like the breakout was almost at its TP, and then it came all the way down to the opposite direction, which is, I mean, it was kind of expected with the crazy. It looks like it got all the way up to 40 points, and 10 points away from the TP. Breakout for this week, I think there's 2 wins and 1 loss so far. So overall, it's been a good week for the breakout so far. I mean, losses are bound to happen. And unfortunately, it reversed right there, Steven. I know it sucks. It looked like it was almost about to hit TP, and then it ended up swinging all the way back down because of this manipulation on open. So it's all good, guys. If you're playing the numbers right, profitability should still be up. So I've been getting a lot of questions also about like how my trades are doing so far. I think here are my stats over here. Okay, so yeah, here are my stats so far. So for the year, this is year to date from January 1st up until yesterday or today, April 16th. I'm currently at net gross profit of 387,960. My net profit is 328,059. Here's a calendar of my trades. So I'm currently still slightly down for April from last week because I took a couple losses and it was break even the week before that. But for the previous months, I did pretty good. March was up 200,000. February is almost 100,000, and January was about 75,000. So, I mean, overall, I'm doing pretty good. It's just last week was kind of crazy with the increased volatility. So, I mean, it's my first red week in a long time, so it was bound to happen as well, right? Like you can only hold a win streak for so long until like it's going to end for a short period, hopefully. This week's been pretty good. We've had wins on both days, yesterday and Monday. Hopefully today will be pretty decent too. I'm just trying to figure out what the average is here for the, for our trades, because we are obviously, we're obviously trying to figure out what the average is for the ATR, because we want to trade with the averages, but right now it's kind of all over the place. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, probably in the next 2 or 3 candles, we'll get a better average of like what the ATR is. Right now, it's currently kind of jumping around a lot. It was at like 18 on open, and then the first candle was like 70 points, second candle was like 100 points. So right now, it's currently at 44. So I would probably sit tight a little bit longer to see where the numbers are going to stand. And then once you have an idea of like what the average is, you can figure out what your TP stop loss should be. Yeah. So you just got to go ahead and wait for this to kind of smoothen out a little bit. Steven said my blood pressure goes up every time I enter the breakout entry. Sean, should I wear an oxygen mask when I take the breakout? For you specifically, Steven, yeah, probably. Probably take some blood pressure medication too while you're at it. Because I know you get kind of crazy when, not just a breakout, but I feel like with any entry, Steven. You gotta learn to keep your cool, Steven. Because the thing is, like, if you play the numbers with the breakout, you'll see that it plays. I mean, it's profitable long term. It's just, it's a long term play. The problem with the breakout is that, like, once you take it, I mean, you're kind of stuck, right? If the market gets manipulated, you don't really have opportunity to kind of pull out of it. Because most of the time, it's either going to hit your TP or your stop loss right away. So, I mean, the breakout isn't for the faint of heart. But if you like it, I mean, keep using it, right? I think it's the easiest strategy for you. that works with your specific schedule. So looking at the current price movement, guys, it's still very volatile. You can see prices going back and forth. What I typically do is I leave the most recent liquidity level marked up because you can kind of see if it's a liquidity grab or not, right? So price kind of goes down, grabs the liquidity, pulls right back up. It's really just ranging between these two levels of liquidity right here as price goes back and forth. Let's see, a question from Brock. Brock said, good morning, Sean. Good day, K2 team. My take is that you've had a great, decent run. It can only get better, bro. We'll stay positive with you here. We're in the middle of London high low. Yeah, I agree, Brock, 100%. And that's why this is why I always tell you guys, you got to stay consistent. You can't keep changing strategies. You got to figure out what strategy works for you and just stick to it. So for my stats for the year, basically all these stats from January 1st up until today, I've only been using one strategy, which is the MPS V2, and then sometimes you sprinkle in the A++, which is basically MPS V2 alternative. So I did this specifically to show you guys that that it's possible, right? If you guys have been following me from January up until basically from the new year until today, I've only been following one strategy, which is the MPS V2. I've been following the more conservative entries. And I did this to basically make a point. I made a point that if you stick to one strategy, it's been what, 4 months now? 4 months of just one strategy. The only adjustment we make is a TP stop loss, really. And yeah, I mean, that's all I've been taking. And that shows you that, the consistency that you guys can yield from one strategy is possible. I feel like a lot of people, like, for example, last week the market was going kind of crazy. And I know a lot of people who trade, of course, because I've been trading for so long. People started changing their strategy because they thought that, their specific strategy wasn't working anymore. But it was really just the crazy volatility that was causing that to happen, right? Like, if you were able to kind of minimize your losses last week and then you just continue on with what you were doing for the beginning of the year, I think a lot of you guys should be fine. It doesn't matter what strategy you're using. Question from Jermaine. Jermaine's asking, just curious, is there a reason you don't trade supply and demand? It goes back to what I just said, right? So like, I don't trade supply and demand because that's not my strategy. It's not my trading style. You can trade any style out there. You can trade support and resistance. You can trade supply and demand. You can trade whatever you want, really. If you find something that fits your trading style, then you can make it work as long as it's a profitable strategy and you have proper risk management in place to make it work. Like, you could use any type of risk to reward. You can use a 1-to-1, you can use a 1-to-2, 1-to-3. As long as that strategy yields a profit in a long-term time frame, you should be good. So, the main reason why I don't trade supply and demand is just because I don't. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that it does work. It's just, it doesn't fit my trading style. Like Brock here trades supply and demand too, I think. That's one of the things that he uses with his confluences. But he mainly sticks to, stuff that works for him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Brock said, yeah, it's his cape. Yeah, it doesn't work for everybody, right? Like, supply and demand doesn't necessarily work for everybody. Same with so every tab I have here is a different strategy. I don't apply the strategy, I just use it as confluence. Like, market profile is a specific strategy, volume profile is a specific strategy, full numbers is a specific strategy, support resistance is a specific strategy. I don't apply any of these, I use them as a confluence. And I feel like that's like one thing too that really kind of screws people up. It's like they think they have to use supply and demand, right? I'm pretty sure that's probably what you think, or what a lot of people think. Like, oh, supply and demand is the only way to trade. That's why a lot of people fail, because they apply a strategy that doesn't work for them, or something that doesn't make sense. Like, there's a lot of strategies out there that does not make logical sense, right? So, like, use ICT, for example, right? ICT, it doesn't necessarily work. A specific ICT strategy doesn't work. There's so many different strategies that he uses, and they're going to work at some points in time. But if you follow just like maybe one of his strategies, then you'd probably be a lot more successful trading than you would be, kind of getting caught up in all of the strategies because obviously something's going to work sometimes. Rock said the last kid is Christian. Yeah, or you could trade with Christian with his harmonic patterns. I think Christian's going to be the harmonic patterns person here. Let me answer your question real quick, Steven. Or I'll message him later. He had a question, but he had to leave. So we'll talk about that later. Anyways, looking at the current price, let's see. All right, I think I can adjust my ATR, or I'll leave the ATR right now currently at 7. I'll adjust it in the next probably 3 minutes. So the ATR is currently sitting at around 50 right now. I think that's possibly where we're going to be trading at. Let's see. Target clean buys above 40,000, 477 would look nice. Let's see, 40,000. Yeah, I can see that above this area right here, right, Target? Yeah, well, so what I see here is price is kind of just ranging between this area, right? So we're getting a range between this area right here. Basically between the liquidity. That's literally all I'm seeing right now. Is just like, this range right here, which is fine. That's just where it's at right now. It's ranging between the two levels of liquidity. So like what Tarek mentioned is like, it'd be nice to see some buys above this area up here, which I agree. Because at that point, price would break past this range. Price is really just ranging between this area, guys. Like, it's not very difficult to see here. I mean, a lot of people might overlook it, but this is really where price is ranging. It's ranging between these two blue lines. We have the liquidity up here and the liquidity down here. So I'm, for the most part, I'm just waiting for it to kind of like, push up a little higher. Yeah, Tarek said correct. 1 hour market profile level would be nice for it to break, see a V2 buys set up above. I agree. So let's go over here to the 1 hour. Yeah, exactly. So right here, like what Tarek mentioned, we probably would have to wait until about 7 o'clock, Tarek. Once that 7 o'clock candle closes, we might be able to see like, like a break and retest up here. I think that would be nice, right? So I think it would be nice to see probably price close in the middle right here. And then once price is down here, we get a little rejection, like maybe off the value low right there and push up, or even like a rejection off the point of control and push up, right? And then from there, it kind of just stays up here and goes up to the value high. So I kind of wanted to close in this middle area right here. So the 1 hour, because this candle is going to close in about 15 minutes at 7 o'clock. Once this candle closes, we'll have some nice projections off of the bottom area. Same with the 30-minute, right? 30-minute, same thing. If price stays within this area, possibly something like that. And I mean, same setup here, even on the 1 minute, right? Possibly if it closes within this area, rejection off the value low, point of control and a bit higher. We just gotta wait. Like, really, it's just gonna be a matter of patience, discipline. Just, I mean, really waiting for the trade to come to us. We currently have a sell signal. The sell signal has been pending for a long time, guys. Sell signal has been pending for quite some time here. Let me go and change my ATR back to 14. There we go. So it didn't change very much. Went from 50 to 47. Let's see, question from CJ. CJ said my ATR is 43. Do I need to change my settings? So I just changed it to 7 because these candles over here are so small compared to these. So the ATR wasn't very accurate. We're now 14 minutes into the market, so I put it back to 14. Because now it takes the average of the previous 14 candles, which are these 14 big candles right here. And now we have a number right there, 45. So you're good. Don't need to change anything. All right, so we have a possible sell opportunity right here for NPS V2. Let me go and check my my confluences. So market profile. We have a rejection up here, but it happened a while ago. So it's not recent. We may have one right here. So let's see, we got one up here. We may have one down here. That's going to be well, the 1 minute. We have a top rejection right here on the 30-minute off the point of control. We have nothing here on the 1 hour. We have a rejection right here off the volume profile. We have a rejection right here off the clean chart. And we have a rejection right here off the resistance. So the sells here do look good. I'm just trying to figure out what my TP stop loss should be. Let me measure these candles real quick. I think a 40-40 could possibly work here. Let's see. Looks like a 40-40 could possibly work here. I know the ATR is a little higher right now. It's currently at 45. Oh, it's right at the sessions. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, it's way too close to the sessions right here. I don't think this is going to be opportunity for entry, unfortunately. Big red flag right there. Thanks, guys. Tarek and Daniel for the heads up. So we got the sessions right here. We have a possible sell entry setting up, but we got a red flag right here, which is the New York low. Yeah, it's gonna have to cut into it, guys. So I'm not gonna take this entry here. I'll mark it up for you guys. If anybody wants to take it, I will mark it up for you guys. But unfortunately, it looks like yeah, we're gonna be right at the session. And this candle here is kind of big as well. Yeah, Barack's gonna skip it. Sorry, so it would have been a really nice trade if it didn't move this far down. Yeah, I agree. Because the confluences did line up for it, but it's right at this red flag, so not gonna be an entrance for me to take there. Yeah, it's too close. I also don't like how this thing swung all the way up at the last second. So if this candle doesn't close red, there's no entry there. It has to close red. Looks like a liquidity grab. So price pretty much came down to the sessions right here, grabbed liquidity, and it's pushing right back into the range. See, this is why I like to leave the lines up for a little bit. Like, for example, usually I take off the liquidity zones. But because, you know, you can use this as your confluence as well, this here could help with identifying fake outs and manipulation. So again, this is another reason why we don't trade at the sessions, guys. This is a clear example here, right? Price came down, grabbed liquidity at the sessions, and then it shot all the way back up. This is why we don't want to trade at any of these horizontal lines. Any of these lines that go from left to right that are dotted, we don't mess with them. For this specific reason, you don't want to get caught up in this. So here's another setup right here for MPSV2. Again, I'm not going to take the trade here. If you guys want to take it, I will mark it up. But it's too close to the sessions right here, and the candles is quite big. All right, so there goes the MPSV2 currently running for a sell. Not in the position, just following it here. I set it to a 40 ATR. I mean, you might want to do 45. I think 40 might be okay though. It's a 5-point difference, so it's not going to make, you know, it's not going to make or break the trade for the most part. I think making a 10-point difference would, but 5 points, not so much. Nice. So Sam over here actually caught the break and retest of this area. Yeah, there's a liquidity zone right there. So if it pushes off this red box right here, it's probably going to keep pushing down lower. So what I would probably look for here is possibly confirmation below. So if this candle closes red, it's probably going to continue dropping from where it's at. It's got to be like a pretty nice red candle though. This candle is like a half body. So like the wick on the top and the bottom are like kind of like the same size. But we'll see. Again, look how price is having trouble getting past this green line right here, right? Price came down for the retest and then it's now bouncing off right there. So guys, I haven't taken any entries for today yet. I'm just following. I was kind of waiting for the market here to stabilize a little bit before I start looking for entries. Looks like the ATR has stabilized a bit. We're currently sitting around 40, 45, which is good. This here's an entry for MPSV2, but it was right at that red flag, full TP right there. So perfect entry right there. Again, like I said, if you guys want to use a liquidity indicator, you can use this for a confluence too. I don't typically use a confluence very much, but something that Sam likes to do is he likes to catch these break and retest off liquidity. And that's literally what happened there, right? He caught the break and retest a little early though. So price came down right here, it came up, and then it came back down lower. For my liquidity indicator, I have it set to two of them. So this is the 1 minute, and then this is the 5 minute. That's why they look different. 1 minute's like way up here because there's no liquidity down there, and there's a 5 minute right here where there's liquidity at that area. So I'll be using that confluence. I'll use it like when we're in the position, but I'm not going to use it for actual entry. Let's see, Tarek said if it didn't touch the sessions the first time around and gave us a setup a little earlier, would have taken. Yeah, 100% Tarek. I would have done the same thing. Would have done the same exact thing, bro. Just being cautious though. We don't know what's going to happen in this type of market, of course. So, and it's better to be conservative anyways. You don't want to take every single trade. So, all right, we'll look for the next, we'll look for the next move here. Let's see, Visual said a 2 minute opening range broke downside or play. Good, almost every day. Yeah, no, the orb plays are good when the market is ranging. So like when the market's doing this right here, it's perfect, right? But I saw a lot because I know a lot of people who do trade orbs, and they got fucking demolished last week because there's no range, right? When the market's ranging, it's good because that's the whole point of the opening range, right? It's good when the market's ranging like this, and it's been ranging for the past couple of days. But on days where like price is like dumping or it's going up super heavy and it doesn't actually range, I've been seeing a lot of people get demolished in those markets, but it's good if you have a good risk reward and you're able to like, withstand those losses when they do happen. It's a good strategy. I looked into orbs as well for a while. The orb strategy that I was using, I created my own. It was, if you guys remember, it was called the PRB strategy. That was a pretty good one for a while. It's just it's hard to apply. Like those breakout strategies are hard to apply during with a prop account. Because the thing is like, once you go into those losing streaks, it's gonna really eat up into your drawdown unless you use like a pretty decent contract size or your risk reward is maybe like a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. Probably 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. You can survive those drops. But yeah, no, orbs are cool. Orbs are good. Again, that's like another type of strategy that a lot of people like to apply. I feel like the orb strategies, those plays used to work. They used to be really popular last year because last year we were in a ranging market almost like every day. So the orb plays would work very often. It just depends on the market conditions. I think as we get closer to summer, the orb plays might be a little better. If you guys remember, the PRB was good up until like February. So it was good in January, and then in February it kind of was like all over the place, and then it picked back up again, and then it died out, and then we just eventually stopped using it because it was too hard to apply with the prop accounts because we were doing like I think a 1 to 1 or 1 to 2. 1 to 1 and 1 to 2, it's kind of difficult to do those types of breakout strategies. All right, anyways, let's keep looking over here. So yeah, CJ said PRB and BV3, BV3C worked pretty good until summer markets hit. Yeah, exactly. So if you guys remember the BV3C and the BV3, those are good continuation strategies. Yeah, like for example, there's still a BV3 that came up like right here. Basically all those breakout strategies, right? All the breakout strategies were pretty difficult to apply when the market was no longer directional. That's pre-market actually. There's a BB3C that came up right here actually. Yeah, this one would have played out. So like with this type of market, if the market's moving directional like this, the BB3C actually works, or the BB3 works pretty well. I think this would be the BB3 right here, huh, CJ? Let's see, visual said even last 2 weeks with volatility worked almost every day, but only 2 minute orb for YM. Does not work for NQ. Yeah, no, I agree. The assets are different. Like for NQ, it's kind of too crazy, so it's almost impossible to do that. So yeah, so visual, yeah, okay, so visual, now that you've kind of you've implemented the 2 minute thing. So okay, now that makes sense. No, I agree with you. Visual, because I was thinking about the regular orb, right? Some people do the orb, I think it's the first 15 minutes, first 30 or first hour. Those are the ones that are like people get destroyed of those, but the first 2 minutes, that does make sense. Because basically with the 2 minute opening range, the orb move for that, you're looking for the manipulation, right? And that's kind of what happened over here with the breakout. That's why Steven got kind of screwed because he waited for it, or right here, the first 2 minutes, 6:30, price came down, this came up, and then came back down. So instead of taking the buy here, if you waited for the 2 minute orb, you would have wrote it back down right here. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so thanks for mentioning that visual. I'll probably take a look at that. I know you've been talking about the 2 minute orb for a long time. Um, yeah, it works good in this type of market, right? The market that you just mentioned, the previous, pretty much the previous 2 weeks, because there's a lot of fake outs. Price doesn't necessarily go in one direction. It'll fake out for the first 2 minutes, boom, boom, and then it comes down for that third candle. So I'll put that in my notes. Maybe like just review it, see if there's anything there, something that'll help Steven out. Um, yeah, visual said if you mark the first 2 minute high and low, you'll see clearly after the first 1 minute candle close below, you take a short. Gotcha. Yeah, I'll put that in my notes right there. Yeah, so basically the higher would be right there, the low would be right there, and yeah, you would have taken the seller because price broke below. Makes sense. Yes, your entry actually would have happened. Okay, so your orb is actually different. What I was looking for, I was actually looking for the initial just push from there. I'll take a look at both, but that orb does look it makes sense. So basically the entry that Visual was talking about was right here. It kind of lined up with the MPSB too, because the low was right here. This first candle broke and closed below it. And you probably base your TP stop loss off the ATR. So your orb right here actually lined up with the it lined up with the NPS, or sorry, not the NPS. It lined up with the breakout V3. All right, guys, nothing here to take right now. Let's see. I'm gonna mark this up real quick. So we have the buyers kind of push price up from here. We had the sellers push price down right here. So basically what we're looking for right now, guys, is I'm looking for price to swing back up. We had engulfing right here, MPS V2 and A plus right here. So this candle right here was an MPS V2 and it was an A plus setup because we had an engulfing right there as well. So 1, 2, and this was a 2 for 1 basically. All right, we had news right here at 7 o'clock. Let me go and mark up that news real quick. So we got news right there. Let me check. Still loading. So the 7 o'clock news is the NAHB Housing Market Index. It was positive. So last month it was 39. It was forecasted to be negative, but it was actually positive. So positive news for 7 o'clock right there. I'm gonna clean this up. We got news down there. Now I'm looking for price to swing back up from here. All right, perfect. I just realized it's 7 o'clock now, so we have a new candle here. So there's no rejections here off the 1 minute. Price is kind of far down. There's no rejections here off the 30 minute either. All right, this is gonna be a little tough because I was like, when I was talking with Tark earlier, I was hoping that like the candle would actually close like near the area here. So what I might have to see here is I might have to see price push up and then bounce off the value low and come down lower. So I need to have some sort of retracement to the upside, about 50 points. We get that retracement to the upside right there, perfect. We can get that boom to the upside, rejection off the value low, and then a continuation to the downside. So that 30 minute right there. Same with the 1 hour, right? Let me go ahead and measure this real quick. So I need about a 70 point pushback to the upside right here, retracement, and then rejection off the value low, and then continuation to the downside. So I'm looking for that there for the 30 minute and the 1 hour. There's nothing here for the volume profile because price is so far below. Again, same thing. I'm looking for price to push up. This is a 100 point retracement. We might have to just wait a little bit longer. I think closer to 7:30, we might have to wait, or I might have to wait because there's not going to be any confluences here. So in order for me to have those confluences that I'm looking for, I need these to adjust, right? These will probably adjust in about 30 minutes. So I don't know if I'm going to have any entries here that I'm willing to take because I'm just not going to have those confluences, right? We might have some confluences here on the clean chart, but this is not going to be enough for me to want to take personally. Price is currently at the 5 minute support. So it's bouncing directly off the 5 minute support right here. We have a double bottom right there, actually a triple bottom. So this might be the time for it to push back to the upside. Triple bottom right here. 1, 2, 3. Possibly a climb back up from there, which is fine. That's kind of what I was looking for anyways. You have a rejection right here off the whole number. This is rejecting off the 40,250. There's nothing here on the volume profile. Again, I'm looking for price to go back to that value low here on the 1 hour. Same with the 30 minute, looking for price to push back up to that value low. And basically same for the 1 minute here as well. Back to that value low. We only have 2 confluences here, guys. So if we get a buy signal here, there's only going to be 2 confluences. I don't think it's going to be enough for me to want to take anything because it's dropped down so far. Yeah, it's hard to see. There's a lot of liquidity gaps on smaller timeframes right now. From what I see, 4-hour daily is better to look at. Yeah, no, I agree. The lower timeframes right now, it's hard to find confluences because price came down so far. It's sitting up here for a while. Let's check the liquidity. So this could be a possible break and retest off this liquidity area here too. Let's see, Barack said took a quick 30 off that liquidity reversal. I'm not convinced that bounce upwards. There's still some more liquidity down there to London low. Yeah, I'm expecting price to maybe come down lower from where it's currently at right now. There's a session right here, the London low. We have a possible buy signal right here. So what we might get here is so this might just be a huge fake out, right? Like this could possibly just be a huge fake out right here. Or actually, no. So what I'm thinking here is price is probably reacting to the news, right? So the news was right here at 7 o'clock. It was positive news. This looks like a big reaction to the news event. So it's reacting to the news right here. And now that we're at the sessions, there's like one of 2 things that may happen right here. We're currently at the sessions. This could be a possible break and retest and then back into this upper range right here, like where we opened at. Or what might happen is we might have price consolidate here for a little bit and then it comes back down to retest the Asian low. There's just too many scenarios here right now where it's going to be really tricky to kind of choose which direction to go. There's a possible MPSV2 setting up here for a buy. We would need a red candle, and then if price does push back up, we may have a possible opportunity again. Again, the only problem here is that we're at the sessions though, so I don't necessarily want to trade around this area specifically. All right, so we're starting to get confluences here. On the 1 minute, we have a rejection right here off the value low. We're up here on the 30 minute. So like I was saying, we might have to wait until 7:30 because if the candle closes up here at 7:30, we might get something like this: price push up, retrace, and push back up to the point of control, right? That's gonna be the target area for it to reach. Same with the 1 hour over here. Maybe push up a little bit, back to the point of control right here in the middle. Because this is gonna be fair, this is fair value, right? Fair value is gonna be right here at this this green bar. Looking at the volume profile, I just don't see anything here right now. Looking over here at the 1 minute clean chart, we have a possible rejection off this whole number right here, the 40,300. So it's currently ranging within this area. So if you look over here, price was trapped in this area before. On the 1 minute. Okay, so going back over here, you can kind of see, I'll go back on the 5. I think the 5 is probably a better time frame to look at. But yeah, basically this area right here, I mean, price might just be trapped within this area because this is where price was on Tuesday, yesterday. So yesterday price got into this range and it just got trapped within this area until market opened over here for London and then it blasted right through. That's kind of what's happening right here right now. Price might just stick within this area for a bit. All right, so this is an MPSV2. It is touching the session, so obviously it's not one that I would personally take or one that I recommend taking. It's, it's obviously at a red flag, of course. So I'm gonna take that off. Like this is touching the red flag on entry. So that's even worse. Gonna take this off right now. Let's see if there's liquidity around this area. So again, this is also not a really good area to take buys because price is currently at this liquidity right here. It could be a break and retest. It's currently sitting in between, so it's rejecting off the liquidity area and it's just consolidating within the sessions right there. So there's just too many different scenarios here that may play out. Okay, so looking at this now, there's actually a gap on the bottom end now. So yeah, this might be an area of consolidation. That's interesting. Like this zone wasn't here before, and I kind of drew that consolidation range. And now that this liquidity zone is here now, it definitely looks like it's going to consolidate within this middle zone. It's all good. I'm in no rush, guys. I'm gonna wait. This week's been pretty good to us so far, so I'm not really looking to force anything here. ATR is currently at 39, so that's perfect because my TP stop loss is set at 40 anyways. We got one more news event right here at 7:30. Today's Wednesday, so it's gas stock change. That gas stock change news event comes out every Wednesday. It's not necessarily meant to really affect the market super heavily, unless there's something going on with OPEC or the gas stuff. But I think right now the big thing is the tariffs, right? So I don't think the gas stock change is going to affect the market too much here at 7:30. All right, so price is pretty much just sitting right here at the value low on the 1 minute. All right, we finally got that top rejection. This is what I was talking about earlier, right? So I mentioned here on the 30-minute, look for the possible push to the upside and continuation back down. Rejection right there on the 30, rejection. So the 1 hour didn't actually reject off it yet, almost. Not quite. Yeah, not quite. So here's one thing that I wanted to mention too. Whenever the market profile and the volume profile, they line up together, it usually tends to be a strong zone. So you can see the dotted line lines up with the solid line. The point of control here lines up together, and the value high lines up together. So these are gonna, I think these are gonna be well respected. If you look over here to like previous days, a lot of times they don't line up together. A lot of times you're kind of like on different levels. So like for example, here the value high was up here, and value high right here was for the volume. So whenever they line up, they tend to respect it. And what you'd expect here is that, so now that I've seen this, that they lined up together, I'm probably going to see price push back up to the point of control. It's kind of what I'm looking at. So I think yeah, I'm glad we didn't take this MPSV2 up, and I'm hoping nobody took it. This is something I'd be super stressed out about if I was in this trade here, because it's just not going anywhere, right? I think this trade's been running for like 5 minutes now. Exactly. Yeah, Nick also mentioned, and again, avoid the sessions, 100%. See, if you could stick to the game plan and avoid certain places and things and stuff like that, like the sessions really, you can really avoid a lot of bad trades. Because this is like a huge, huge red flag for me specifically. I mean, sometimes it'll play through like this right here. But if I ever have an entry where it's like actually touching the sessions, I for sure wouldn't take that trade. If I have to reach the sessions, I can always move my stop loss and profit or like tighten up my TP. But when it's touching the sessions for entry, that's where it becomes, like in my opinion, a lot more riskier than kind of aiming for the target. So all right, we have a sell signal here. With a sell signal, this could be setting up for a possible MPSV2 for a sell. Now let me see if there's any confluences here. We do have a rejection here on the 1 minute. Rejection off the value high. We have a rejection right here off the value low, or sorry, value low over here on the 1 minute. Rejection, also rejection off the value low on the 30-minute. No rejection here on the 1 hour, close to it, but not quite. Volume profile over here, again, it's close to it, but it's not exactly rejecting off it very cleanly. Looking over here at the clean chart, we actually don't have any top rejections here yet. So what I would probably look for here is a possible retracement and then a rejection and continuation to the downside. And then over here on the 5-minute support resistance, we do have rejection right here off the resistance level. So we have about 3 confluences here. We have a rejection over here on the support resistance, rejection right here off the volume profile slightly, nothing on the clean chart, 30-minute rejection on the market profile, and 1 minute rejection right here off the 1 minute. This is gonna be a tricky entry, guys, because we have the news price right here. The news price you can kind of ignore, but I think for me personally, I'm probably gonna put some weight on this specific news price. The reason why I'm putting weight on this specific news price is because we had an actual reaction to it, right? So see how this news candle came up at 7 o'clock? As soon as that positive news came out right here for NAHB Housing Market Index, it actually pushed away from it. If price was to continue coming down to this area and just sit around this area and maybe come up and come back down and whatever, right? Keep going back and forth. Then in a situation like that, I would just disregard the news price. But the news price right here actually has some sort of relevance. So I think this might be a little bit tricky. It still would be considered a red flag. So if you guys want to take this entry here, I will mark it up for you guys. I'm probably not going to take this one. Yeah, because I'm gonna respect the red flags here, especially because the news price here hasn't been retested yet. If this was already tested in the past, then I would maybe disregard it, but it hasn't tested it yet, right? Price pushed away right here when news came out, and it hasn't came back to test it. So what I would be worried about is if price does come back and test it, it might bounce right back off it again. And it's okay because there's no entry here actually, or there might be if this candle closes red. All right, so this is an MPSV2 right here. It's currently running. I mean, this candle pulled up at the very last second, so I don't think I'd have enough time to even make the adjustments there. So I'll follow it here. This was a really tight entry. This was a really tight entry. Because this candle pushed up at the last second, turned green, then it came back red at like, maybe the last minute. CJ said, I agree with taking that news price into consideration based on the fact that the candles are moving the way they move when they're near the sessions. Yeah, I agree with you too, CJ, 100%. So what I'm expecting here is I'm expecting price to come back and retest the news price down there. That's possibly what we'll be looking for. Let's see, target said we'll take 40-40 if if setups like where it's at, didn't like the hammer to the upside, would like to see a clean red candle down. I agree with you 100%. So I would have liked it if it was like, like something like this, right, Tarek? This candle right here would have been nice. But yeah, this hammer here, this wick on the bottom was huge. I feel like when you see a candle like this is like a FOMO type move, right? Because I feel like a lot of people were probably watching it as it was down here, but then when it came up here, they were like, "Oh, I'm still going to take it anyways." And then they take it and they get FOMOed into the position. That I've been victim of that a lot of times. You guys have seen me where I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna take it if it doesn't close as a nice red candle, right?" And then it closes like this, and I still take it. And then once I'm in the position, I'm regretting it the whole time. Like, fuck, I should have never taken that trade. Um, I'm gonna take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in the position. But yeah, the candle body. So a lot of people don't really like care about the candle bodies a lot of the times. But on the 1 minute, I think it makes a lot of sense. So like if you look at the candle, how it moves during the candle body while it's active, it kind of gives you a storyline. So for example, you see how this here is starting to wake up a lot. If this starts to push up higher, then I'm expecting this to continue pushing up from there. I think looking at the candle bodies on the 1 minute, like not how they close, but look at how they react while they're active. If you can watch to see how these candles react while they're active, you can kind of take it, you can have a better idea of like where it's going to push after. So it's always and this is like something that I've noticed a lot lately because before we would typically just wait for candle close, right? I think it's important to actually see how the candle moves during that 1 minute and then use the close as, another confirmation. Like for example, here, this here was kind of like bouncing back and forth and then it closed bullish. But if we had something where it was like, once I find a good example, I'll show you guys like something where it's like a big, big wick, like this right here. I think this is a good example because I was watching this candle earlier. This candle was like way up here and it looked like price was going to come down. And then the last second it came down super sharp and then it was followed by a strong red candle. Same with this candle right here currently, right? So this candle was like way down here and then it pushed up and you can see it's followed by another big push to the upside right here on this following candle. Not a big push up, but a decent push up. So we'll see. Anyways, I don't like this area anyway, like where it's currently at. We got a buy signal here that's currently pending, or I mean, buy signal that's closed, an NPSV2 that's currently pending. Let's see if there's any confluences up here. Yeah, Glenn said I didn't like the price action. Sam said it did not take it because on NQ liquidity sweep already happened. Smart. Yeah, so it's cool here what Sam's doing because Sam likes to go between different assets and he uses that as a confluence. Like Sam, I think you go between like NQ and you also go between like gold. Yeah, Sam said I've seen NQ dragging YM. I can see that. Yeah, with the tariffs going around, a lot of these typically these assets don't really follow each other, but lately they have because of the tariffs. Let me check and see if there's any breaking news from CNBC today. Not really. That's crazy. JP Morgan Chase sues more customers who allegedly stole cash in the infinite money glitch. That's crazy. I remember seeing this on the news. There was an issue with like the ATM and people like it would show money in their account, but it wasn't actually their money. They would withdraw all of it. That's crazy. All right, so we got price pushing up right here. Unfortunately, I think for the buy here, I don't know if we'll have any confluences. I might have to wait till 7:30. So we can look for a possible break and retest right here on the 1 minute. Get that rejection off the bottom end. We're not going to get one on the 3 minute yet. Probably not going to get one on the 1 hour either. Yeah, I don't see any bottom rejections here. There's a clean sharp rejection right there. Not a strong one, but decent enough. Rejection right there. So price is pretty much what I said earlier, right? So I said price is probably gonna be trapped within this area here, like pretty much what happened yesterday. And that's basically what's happening here. So I don't know if the bias here would be really great because I think it's going to be trapped in this area. So there's a possible MPSV2 that's setting up right here, guys. It's going to be right at the sessions again. So, I mean, take that with caution. Yeah, it's going to be at the session again, I think. Let's see how this candle here closes. Sam said 245% tariff on China is big news. Yeah. So the thing is, China, they mentioned that they're open to negotiate with the US. They just need to get some respect. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was on Bloomberg this morning. So it looks like Trump's plan is working, right? He's basically cornering China here to negotiate with the US, and they're starting to negotiate. So hopefully that's good for the market, and we start to have the stable market again. Once this trade war sort of ends. But it's gonna be hard to tell. All right, there's an MPSV2 that is setting up right here, guys. MPSV2 that is setting up right here. There's not enough confluences, so I don't think I'm gonna take it because the confluences aren't that great. 40-40. All right, so the trade's currently running right now. Yeah, there just wasn't enough confluences here for me to take it, guys. There's the market profile here. There's nothing on the 1 minute. There's nothing on the 30 minute. There's nothing on the 1 hour. There was nothing here on the, yeah, there's just no confluences here for me. I mean, it doesn't mean the trade won't hit, but, and I also didn't like that it was at the resistance here on the 5 minute resistance. So it just didn't really look like a good setup for me to want to take. I couldn't trust this entry here without enough confluences. The ATR is actually really low right now. It's back down to 33. So might be able to go back to 30-30s for, looks like that 30 is about to hit. Full TP right there. The ATR is actually really low right now. I mean, if you want to go for that 40, it's probably gonna hit too. But the 30-30, yeah, Sam got out with 30. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, the ATR is down to 33, guys. So this is good. It looks like we're back to somewhat normal market conditions. The 40 also hit right there. So I mean, depending on what you guys wanted to take, 30-30 or 40, both of them hit. Yeah, let me scroll up real quick. Tark's asking, what is the market profile indicator name? So I can add pick value low. TPO, time price opportunity. Sorry. So if you go to your indicators, just search TPO and it should come up. I don't know what's up with mine here. It's not. Let me refresh my chart. All right, so full TP right there. I don't know if anybody else caught that. Sam caught it, so nice work, Sam, on catching that. Yeah, if you type in TPO, time price opportunities built in. It's gonna be that first one right there. Yeah, CJ said someone got 32 million deposited into their account and refuses to give it back. It's crazy. Let's see, Barack said, I noted MPS V2s around the fair value gaps are usually skippy. That's why I chose to enter late. Still back testing, trying to avoid losses, like all of us, though we can't avoid them completely. We'll take late entry if it breaks the 5 minute supply, like you said. Yeah, no, definitely. So we'll keep looking for entries here. We're getting closer to 7:30, which is exactly what I wanted. So we do have a bottom rejection right here now off the 1 minute. 30 minutes about to close right here. We'll have some more confluences right there as well. All right. So the ATR is currently at 35, guys. I might have to make my TP stop loss a little smaller. I mean, I'll leave it at 40 right now. If I need to adjust it to like 30, like while it's active, that's fine. Because it's only off by like, 10 points or so. But I'll see. Let's see. Barack said I'll enter there if it closes bullish current candle. All right, so Barack's in this position right here. He got in a little late. So this right here, this MPS V2 is actually pretty good. If you see here, so let me go. I just stopped marking up so the buyers were in control right here. Sellers were in control right there, and the buyers got back in control, like right here. So looking at this over here, the the this was so the MPS V2 here was an A++ setup. Now that I'm looking at it, see, I was like, if I saw that as an MPS V2 A++, I probably would have been more inclined to take it. I think this candle here closed at the last second, like very high, because it was like kind of low and then it closed at high at the last second. But there's an engulfing right here. There's a buy signal, a retracement, confirmation, and the confirmation entry is also engulfing right there too. So this was actually a pretty nice setup on this one. It's all good. We have news right here. This is gas stop change. We got the new 30-minute candle running, so this is going to be good for us so that we have more confluences on the market profile. All right, so we have a rejection here on the 1 minute. I'm looking for a possible retracement, rejection right there off the 30-minute, and then back to the point of control. The 1 hour over here, price is kind of just pushing back up to the point of control. We're not going to get rejections on here, possibly, unless it comes back down. Nothing here on the volume profile. Clean chart over here. We have rejection right there on the whole number at the 40,350. And looking over here on these firms, so price is actually still in that range, guys. So that same range that I talked about earlier down here, I think price can come back down. So see right here, price attempted to break out of the range, failed. Now it's coming back down on the 5 minute. So 5 minute resistance right here. All right, so just looking at the entries for today, guys. I mean, overall, today's been pretty good. It's just been a lot of entries that happen at areas that I personally wouldn't trade at. Like we had an MPS V2 that came up over here, was right at the sessions. This one over here was actually a good entry. It just wasn't like in a good area that I want to trade because it was so close to the sessions right here. Initially, I didn't think this candle was going to not touch the sessions. I thought it was going to come back down and touch it right there. And that's why I wasn't planning on taking it. But looking at it here, if I was paying attention to it a little more and saw that it was going to close above this area with engulfing, it would have been a better entry to look at. It's all good. We'll keep looking for opportunities here. The ATR is dropping down to 32, so we might have to go back to 30.30 for our TP stop loss. Let's see, Barack said, I think we hit those highs at New York high. Liquidity looks awesome. Taking the last swing for 30, minimal risk. Nice. Tark mentioned rejection off the hour resistance. Sells would look nice here if we can push away from the sessions. It's hard for me to find good confluences for buys as of now. Yeah, same here. I agree with you, Tark. I think the buys here are a little tricky because I mean it's at that resistance right there on the 5 minute. We're getting some nice rejections here on the clean chart, but everything else doesn't really line up for buys here, right? There's only a couple confluences. There's a 1 minute market profile. There is, I guess, volume profile from like earlier. There's a clean chart rejection, which was just off this most recent candle. And that's about it. Unless price breaks above here on the support resistance. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll be looking at these candles here to kind of see how they close. Like I was mentioning before, if you start to see like these big wicks that were, like say for example, this thing comes down and then it shoots up to a green candle at the last second, like this right here, I think this will continue climbing. So if this candle here closes as a strong green candle, I think it's going to continue pushing up at least a little bit more. And we'll see. We'll see if that hypothesis plays through. I mean, the volatility is super low right now, so well, it's not super low, it's like average. Like we just have normal market conditions right now. It looks like the market's moving slow, but this is just normal market. Because 32 is not that low. If it goes below 15, then that's for sure low. Rocks at a 30-minute close nice with a liquidity grab down there. 5 minute supply will be taken out. Nice. So Barack caught that for 30 points right there. He just caught the little bounce and it pushed up. So looking at the current candle right here, it's doing pretty much what I anticipated. So I said here earlier, watch how these candles close. If they come down and they push up like that, it's going to push up higher. And that's exactly what's happening right here, right? So price pushed up, closed right here, and it pushed up another 20 points or so. Now, I'm going to keep looking at how these candles here close like that. I think, well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend people do this, but like, this could be like good opportunities for quick, like 10-point scalps. I mean, it's gonna be really tight though. You have to like really actually read the candle when it comes up. So if I see another example, I'll let you guys know. But this over here played out pretty nicely. The little hypothesis that we had where I said if price ends up pushing up and then it closes green, it's probably to push up a little more, which it did. All right, so we got price coming back down right now. We got price coming back down to this 30-minute value low. So if you guys look at the market profile here, the market profile is actually not aligned anymore. It was aligned earlier where this dotted line was with the volume profile and same with this red line. So it's a little offset now compared to where it was earlier. I just don't see really any good rejections here off the market profile. Nothing on the 1 minute, nothing on the 30-minute, nothing on the 30 or 1 hour. Volume profile price is kind of just in the middle. Clean chart, don't really see anything here. We do have price still attempting to get past the range here on the support resistance on the 5-minute. Yeah, Christian said I think that was the only setup without red flags for now. Yeah, I agree. Broxy, we need that bearish momentum so we can wait for an MPS B2 bullish criteria to enter. Yeah, because it looks like price is trying to push up right now, but I mean, at this very moment, we would need to get that sell signal to come up. Let's see, Samson, at this moment, I'll do what you'll do, Sean. Yeah, I know it's a tricky market right now because prices. So I think the main thing here is this would probably be the main focus. The 5-minute resistance, price is trying to get past it, right? I think whatever happens right here is probably going to dictate what's going to happen next. So like, for example, if price continues to climb up from here, it's probably going to push back up to this middle range and this upper area. If price fails to break above there, then it's probably going to pull right back into this lower range. Right. I think the support resistance zones right here are going to be very useful to kind of pay attention to, at least for now, because we don't have much confluence here otherwise. See, the 1 hour, if price comes down lower, we might get that rejection off the value low. There's nothing on the 30. There's nothing on the 1. And price is kind of just sitting right here. So here we are, we're pulling back into the range from earlier. So remember what I mentioned earlier, guys? I said price is probably going to, and this has been a bullish push since the news this morning. So the 7 o'clock news came out right here at the for the NHV housing market index. And you can see how price has been in a bullish move since. Right? A lot of this movement started from the news event right here at 7 o'clock. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I usually don't pay attention to news, but I think this news event is actually relevant because price never came back to retest it. And you can see it's been bullish ever since. You know, this has to do with the interest rates. A lot of people, like I think I saw over here. So it says homebuyers rush to riskier loans as tariff turmoil pushes interest rates higher. I think this is pretty crazy that people are actually doing this. It says the share of borrowers applying for adjustable rate loans jumped to the highest in over 2 years. This is what caused the market crash years ago, right? The adjustable rate loans. The thing is, people are trying to get in at these adjustable rates and they're expecting the interest rates to go higher. But it doesn't necessarily mean that's guaranteed. Like the rates aren't guaranteed to go up higher. So if they're or lower or whatever it may be, you know, like these people who are doing these adjustable rates are going to get screwed if their gamble doesn't play out in their favor. So, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand. I saw this news here before the market opened up, and then obviously the news from today was the housing market index. So obviously they kind of go hand in hand with each other. And it looks like a lot of people reacted to it because it was a lot better than expected. And here we are, we're back into the range now. Yeah, CJ said Trump's plan is working too good. I'm not sure if he intended to expose luxury designers, but to know that my Italian leather made shoes only cost $1 to make, and all that furniture in my home only cost a few $100 to make is killing me. Yeah, I know. A lot of people are looking to just buy stuff directly, right? Like from China. Which I mean, it doesn't matter if people are okay with bootleg stuff. I mean, it's not really bootleg, like if you think about it, because it was originally made there anyways. So like you're buying something that's actually made in that factory. It just isn't sold in the store. So yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Tarek said it's a fluff in terms of rates. I think Feds will fold and lower maybe July or May or July since they have to refi their own debts. Long-term good for stocks. Yeah, no, and I agree with you 100%. Sorry. I think it's all fluff too, like they have to lower it. It's just the rates are gonna have to come down. We talked about this like last time I saw you. It's it's all like a circus, like honestly. Like if when this news comes out, when news like this comes out, or just news in general, right? You kind of like have to look at it from a different perspective. It's just a lot of people are kind of just jumping on it, right? Like they scare people with these high rates or whatever, and people just they like jump into stuff that like they can't afford basically. Because like I know a lot of real estate agents too, like in the area, and like there's a lot of people who are buying like these super expensive homes in like Newport and like CDM and like Irvine and all over these areas. And they're like they're stretched so thin that if like something happens in the market, they're gonna foreclose or have to go bankrupt. Um, it's just, it's the frenzy. It's like people think, okay, this is the best time to buy or whatever. But like you said, you look past it and you actually, and you work in that field too. So you know exactly what to look for. It's just, the normal everyday people that kind of get caught up in this scare. It's just fear in the market, really. It's like, oh, if you don't buy a house now, you'll never buy a house, right? I think that's the fear that people always get. Because it's true, prices are going up and rates are going up, but eventually rates are going to come down and prices are going to come down. Prices will probably not come down, but rates will probably come down. I don't think they're both going to keep increasing over time. It's not feasible. Let's see. Daniel said there's a YouTuber that cuts up high-end bags and breaks down all the materials used, remakes it, and shows cost and breakdown. Birkin's only like 1,000 with material and labor. I know it's crazy, right? People pay a crazy amount for Birkin bags. I mean, I'm not really into the luxury stuff, honestly, so they can miss me with that. But people out there, yeah, it's crazy. They're paying like, yeah, like what CJ said, people pay 30 to 200K for a Birkin bag because they believe the resale value is high. It's nuts. It is. Yeah, Tarek mentioned before the lower rates, they have to cause pain in the markets, which they did, so they can say they're coming in to bail us out. When in reality, they're just printing money to infinity. Yeah, that's literally what happens. I mean, that's what Trump does, right? He causes all this crazy havoc, and then after he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys can thank me for for basically putting the market back to normal," which it was going to be back to normal anyways, but it caused all this fear in the market to kind of ruffle up the market a little bit. Like last week, so let's go back real quick. There's no entries here, guys, so don't worry. There's nothing to take here. We're still looking for that sell signal to come up, so there's nothing for us to take here right now. But let's go over here to the clean chart. So let's go over here to the daily. Right, so we had all this fear over here from basically all the fear here. So like basically like the drop started happening last week, right, or 2 weeks ago. So the drop started happening right here, and this caused all of the craziness in the market. People got super scared, and all this happened. And then price comes back up, and look where it's at. It's back to where it was before, right? This is kind of where market was before the tariff news. And where's market at? It's back to where, well, not, it's not all the way back to where it was, but basically cause a scare. The people who like got scared sold off their stocks and whatnot. And here we are, back to where we were earlier. And then eventually it's probably gonna come back up. We're gonna have this rally towards the end of the year. And of course, Trump's gonna say, oh, this was all of his doing, which in a sense it was of his doing because he did cause like havoc in the market and he gave opportunity to people. But I mean, stuff like that is bound to happen. It's these market cycles that we're in. All right, unfortunately, there's nothing here for me to take right now. I was looking for that sell signal to come up, like Barack was mentioning. I was looking for that retracement and look for that continuation back up. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, or we might be getting it right here. Pending sell signal right here. Let me go and take a look at the confluences. All right, so we got a top rejection right here off the point of control in the 1 minute. We got a top rejection right here on the 30-minute. We have a top rejection right here on the 1 hour. We don't have anything on the volume profile yet, but if price does stay below here, we may have a break and retest. We don't have anything here on the clean chart yet, but again, we may have a break and retest of this level. We do have a rejection right here off the 5-minute resistance. Okay, so the sells here could be possibly good. This news right here could, this was from 7:30. This was a gas stop change, I believe. Yeah. So, I mean, this might be able to be disregarded, but I guess we'll see. So price is currently in the range that I marked up earlier. So this is the range that I marked up from market open over here. And price is now within that range. I don't really have anything here yet. We'll see what happens in a few. Let's see what we got. 7:50 right now. We're getting closer to 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, that sell signal did not come up, so we're not really expecting anything here at the very moment, which is okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to get any entries here for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Played today kind of safe. I mean, there wasn't really very many opportunities here. There was this one, it was a red flag. This one over here was a good setup, but it just didn't look good at the time, so there wasn't any confluences for a buy. Tarek mentioned for sells, if we close under your red box, would look even better if we trade under for sells under the box. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You know what I'd like to see here is a fake out, like push back into the range, a fake out, and then a push back below. And I think that's kind of what you're looking for too, right? Target push back below here, and then possibly a push down to the sessions for retest. Exactly, yeah. So Tarek said, yeah, so we can break market structure for buys. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd be looking for here. Yeah, so you can see over here, we basically had like market was already ranging within this area. It came down right here, and then when the news happened at 7 o'clock for the NAHB Housing Market Index, market was bullish, and then it's back to where it was earlier. So what we might get here, yeah, the ATR is actually really low right now. It's well, not really low, but it's like lower than average, right? We're below 30 so far. I think what's happening today is a lot of people are just sitting out of the market, and the reason for that is because we have Powell speaking at 10:30. I think a lot of people are just going to be waiting for Powell to speak. I'm pretty sure Powell's going to have good things to say. He always has good things to say. And I think what's going to happen here is we might have. So I think price may continue to drop for a little bit. And then when Powell speaks at 10:30, it's gonna go bullish again. I think we're gonna have a big spike at like 10:30. Right here, we got Powell speaking at 10:30 later today. So I think price will stay pretty flat around this area. It might just consolidate within this box for a bit, maybe move back around a little bit. So probably consolidate, maybe come down, consolidate, maybe come up, come down. And then eventually later at 10 o'clock, we're gonna get that big bullish push when Powell speaks. Powell's gonna be discussing the interest rates. So like what Tarek mentioned earlier, he's gonna confirm, whether the interest rates are gonna go down in May or June. They're gonna go down. I think this year it's gonna go down a couple points. But it's just a matter of time until they do. Let's see, Sam said 44.80 liquidity blast grab. Liquidity then sell off from 45.50 is what he's looking at. So let's see what he's looking at over here. He said liquidity grab at 44.80. Let me mark that up real quick. Color this black so I don't want to mix it up. And then he's looking for it to sell off to 45.50. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So Sam is looking for price to push up, and then his rejection point is like where my London low is at. Yeah, no, I can see that happening, Sam. I think that's actually a good analysis right there. Because look at all the liquidity sitting up here. It might even go a little higher, Sam. There's more liquidity sitting up here. If that happens, grab liquidity, fake out right here, and then come right back down, like you said. Yeah, no, I can see that. It's probably not going to happen right now, but it'll probably happen. Let's see how far of a push that is. It's 100 points. It might take a while because the ATR right now is very small. It's currently below 30 right now. So, normally this could happen within the next maybe 10, 20 minutes, but with the slow market that we're currently in, or average market that we're currently in, it's probably going to take a bit longer. It's about to be 8 o'clock though, so I think today just might be a day where no trades are going to be taken on my end. So again, here are my stats for the so these are my stats for the year, guys. I'm finally almost out of this rut. I just need to have like maybe one more win and I'll be out of this rut for this month so far. So this is the first time I've been in red for the month in like a really long time. Looking over here from January, we did pretty decent for January over here. I had more winning days, of course. That's why I ended up in profit. February over here as well. I had a couple accidents, but for the most part, made good profit for February. March was amazing. So March, I killed it, obviously. We had so many entries here that hit, and the profits were phenomenal. This month, of course, it's a little sluggish, but that happens, right? I'm just showing you this to show you that not every month is going to be like March, right? March was amazing. We killed it in March. We made a ton of profit. February and January were more like around the average, so like around 75K to like 90K. And then obviously March was like, we just hit this out the field, 200K. And then April, I'm currently down 20, but it's not very much because I'm still up overall for the year. So, just keep that in mind, guys. For me, I think consistency and discipline plays a huge part in finding consistent profits. Because the thing is, I see this with a lot of people. You can do really good for like maybe a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, maybe even a whole month. But in order for you to stay consistent month over month over month, it's going to take like that next level of discipline for you to stay on track. So for me here, I could have probably forced a couple trades here. Like I probably could have forced this one right here, but there was just no confluences, so it didn't meet my criteria for the trade. So like I could have won that trade, but I wouldn't feel like very confident about it. Like this trade over here, I could have taken this trade and this trade could have won, but it was at a red flag. So I stuck to my game plan, no red flags for myself. Same with this over here, right? There was an entry for a buy here. If we took this at the red flag, this trade would have lost. And then same with this one over here. There was a sell entry that came up. There's a sell MPSV2, but it was right at the red flag again. Down here, right? So, I'm just showing this to reiterate that, like, if you follow your game plan and you stay away from the red flags, you could find consistency long term. It's just you don't have to take every single trade that comes up, because if you do, I mean, it could really mess up your account. All right, Tarek. So Tarek's done for the day. He said no trades for him today. Good luck, everyone. See us back here in the AM. Definitely. Barack said, please red momentum. Understand that we don't have much time. And Barack got his red momentum right there. So there's an MPSV2 that's currently loading here for a sell, like Christian mentioned. Let's take a look at the confluences. So again, there's no confluences here for me to take that sell. So I don't think, or there's a 30-minute rejection, 1 hour rejection, possible rejection here off the volume profile. That's 3. Nothing here off the clean chart, and possible rejection here off the support resistance. Yeah, Brock said sells will be traps, just came from a supply turned into demand. That's kind of what I figured too. I didn't really see very many confluences there for me to want to take anyways, and it looks like it's probably not even going to come down. So now we do have the buy signal here. This price pushes back up higher. Yeah, CJ said it's normal for the market to slow down around this time of the year, so we shouldn't be hard on ourselves. Plus, we've experienced some history making market movements this month. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, CJ. We're getting closer to summer, guys. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer to summer. We're still in the spring. As we get closer to the summer, the market tends to slow down a bit. So, I mean, this is normal. If you traded over the years with me, we've been trading, I think this is 8 years now. So 8 years trading every day, every live session. You've been through this. I mean, the market goes through sessions, not sessions, it goes through seasons where market's not always going to be super volatile. Sometimes it'll slow down. Wednesdays are like notoriously slow though, because that's usually when Powell speaks or when someone in the Fed speaks that's important. Glenn's asking, will you trade tomorrow, Sean? Yes, I will be here. Is there something going on tomorrow? No, it's Thursday. Yeah, I'll be here. Got nothing wrong with trading on Thursday. I mean, at this point, I'm going to be definitely trading Thursday because I want to make a trade tomorrow since I didn't make anything today. So I will be here tomorrow, same place, same time, doing the same thing that we normally do. Hopefully the market's going to be a little more, I don't want to say consistent, but a little more away from the red flags. Brock said, man, I got no confidence in this thing now. I was hoping a wicking red candle would follow the bearish momentum, and it went to New York without us. Yeah, went over to the high. So we still have that buy signal right there. I mean, the same analysis that Sam was mentioning. So it's coming up to that area that he was talking about, the liquidity blast. So he's looking for liquidity to push up from this area, come up here, and then come back down. Basically head and shoulders. Yeah, CJ said he agrees because the red flags are definite kryptonite for him. 100%. Looking at this right here, price is currently at the so I mean this might just be a liquidity grab right here. Sam, I don't even know if this will push through. It got to your price point right there. I know you were looking for it to push up higher and then bounce off here. And I could see that playing out. It just looks like price might have just grabbed liquidity from where it's currently at right now. And it is coming back down. Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. It is 8:01 right now, so we're about a minute over our live trading session time. You guys can see the volatility here is staying around 30, so this is good. It looks like a normal market. What I do recommend is if you guys do decide to keep trading, be careful because Powell is speaking later at 10:30 today. So you guys know how Jerome Powell shakes up the market. He's probably gonna make market. So what I'm expecting over here is I'm expecting a long-term bullish push, but it's probably gonna manipulate. So right here at 10:30, price might just go sideways for a bit from now, and then it might get manipulated to the downside, and then straight up when Powell says something good. So just something to take into consideration if you guys do decide to continue trading. However, you guys can see here, we haven't had a momentum signal in a while. This thing pushed up for about maybe almost an hour, no momentum signal. And then this buy signal has been pending for a while, still hasn't closed. So let's see, one question here from Lila. Lila said, when you activate your PA accounts, do you have to start trading it or can you hold it until you pass several evals? They didn't answer my questions. Yeah, you can just hold on to it, Lila. You don't have to take trades on it at all. You can just pay for your PA so that you don't get continuously charged for your monthly thing, and then you can just hold on to it, and then you can just trade it when you want to. Yeah, exactly. So you have to activate it. Before there wasn't a rule for it, where you can just like basically stockpile, because that's what I used to do, right? I used to pass accounts, and then I would have my PAs, and then I would just have more accounts just sitting in the background for me to turn into PAs later. But I don't think it's a strict rule, Lila. I've seen other people in the group where they've had the PAs pending for like almost a week. Not saying that you should do that, but once you activate it, you don't have to trade on it. You're just capped at 20 accounts though. So like if you have 20 accounts, obviously you can't have one that's just waiting to be activated. So I just kind of like take that one away. So you should be good. Sam, I need some sort of confirmation for sell. I think I'm done too in green. So thanks for the stream today. Yeah, definitely, Sam. If you're in green for the day, I'll just wrap it up. Powell's going to be speaking later, so I think price is probably going to just sit around for a bit until he has his stuff to say later at 10:30. Let's see, Lila said, I would like to pass 3 before trading. Would you trade all at once or one at a time? I'm scared. For me personally, I'm not really scared with my trades, and it doesn't make a difference with the trade that I take. So yeah, I would just trade all of them myself. But if you do feel scared about it, Lila, I would just, you can just stick to one first. Stick to one, and then once you get comfortable, then add those to the copier. But I think if you stick to one, you should be good because you can still make pretty good money off just one account, right? Like you make a couple $100,000 off one account, and then later when you're confident, you can always just multiply that. So, all right, I think that's it for the day, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So again, if you guys want to trade, feel free to trade and then be careful around 10:30. Otherwise, if you're done for the day, just wrap it up and we'll come back tomorrow fresh. Hopefully market will move a little bit more consistent and smooth, and we'll be able to catch some entries away from the red flags. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.